hope we've done sensible things during the crisis. Lots of our competitors are out doing, desperate sale and leasebacks of aircraft, which is fine. It raises money in the short term, but it really gives you a very high operating cost base for the next 5 or 10 years. We, despite the fact that we have 80% of our fleet unencumbered, we have resisted that temptation because, frankly, I go back to my farming experience. We don't want to sell at distressed prices, and I certainly don't want to borrow money at inflated rates. So we took the view that the sensible thing to do was have an equity issue. We raised 400 million from our existing shareholders. I led that. I had to write a cheque for 16 million for my 4% of that issue. We then went to the bond market. We raised a bond for 850 million. Again, we did that at about 2.8%, which is much lower cost financing than our competitors are doing sale and leasebacks at the moment. And we have about 1.5 billion in debt to repay next year, which is the UK government loan, and the original 2014 bond is due for repayment. So we've taken all that financing risk off the table. But I'm much more excited, about the opportunities that there are out there at the moment. Like, we are very active at Slots Conference recently. We are in intensive negotiations with quite a number of airports who are beginning to realise actually that, Lufthansa's fleet is not going to come back, that they're going to be left with a lot of shortages next summer, that the only way they can return to growth will be working with somebody, an airline that's flexible and can rapidly deploy aircraft and crews like Ryanair. I think what was different between Ryanair and most of our competitors in Europe during the crisis is we kept flying our aircraft. You've seen Lufthansa park up loads of aircraft for the last 9 months. BA have done the same. First, long-haul aircraft, it's a sensible thing to do. But a lot of those aircraft will need a heavy maintenance check before they can go back in the air. What we've done frantically and to our cost is we've been putting around keeping all the aircraft flying, keeping all our pilots and cabin crew. All of our pilots have flown at least once a month, so we're keeping the pilots current, we're keeping the cabin crew current, we're keeping the aircraft current, so that really we can pounce on growth. And it's important that we fulfill, because I think there's going to be an enormous snapback in travel demand, because one of the things we've certainly learned, and I get on a daily basis when I go home, Mrs. O'Leary is very keen to go back to the Algarve, and I suspect she'll be there about 2.5 nanoseconds after the coronavirus restrictions are lifted. She hasn't had a holiday now for over 12 months, and she thinks herself and the children need a holiday, and, frankly, I think she is reflective of the overwhelming majority of Europe's population, and they will go back. And I think what's interesting, Bernie, from a WTI point of view, I think they'll be reluctant to go back to long haul for summer 2021. But I think there's going to be an invasion of the beaches of Spain and the Algarve and the Canaries and the Balearics and Greece and, Italy. They're really going to see a surge of that intra-European tourism next year. And we need to be there, providing the capacity at low prices, keeping fares down.